Hello, welcome to Musical Talk. This is a kind of unedited, very quickly released episode because I'm sat here with John Sweeney. Hello, John.
Hey guys.
How are you?
Nick. I'm good, thank you.
Good. I'm in New York. It's been 10 bloody years.
Yes, and the last time you were here, we saw one of the first, well, not one of the first, but an earlier film to stage
The Trend
adaptation.
What
Yes,
was
the
that?
Trend was just sort of, we were at the cusp of at the very beginning of the podcast of the.
Of the
We still can see
podcast.
it. I feel like we're.
No, it's all right. It's fine. What you're trying to say is we're at the beginning of the movie to musical
Movies.
adaptation
Yes.
movement. You
That
could say.
what he said. Yes.
Last night we saw Moulin Rouge, which is coming to London in March 2021. So when you presented to me the opportunity that we could see it here for an okay price,
It was a very okay price.
Yeah.
I have to say it was very.
I mean,
okay.
I've heard people paying $700 to sit downstairs
Yeah,
and
no,
see
no,
this
no.
show. I wanted to see it the minute I saw that beautiful auditorium which they released a picture of, and it's a great selling point. For
And
it.
I didn't want to see it. Even last night I didn't want to see it, but I was dragged to it, so we did go see it.
But you enjoyed it. Well, we have to say, you and I are not massive fans of the film.
No, I'm not a fan. The film was dazzling to look at, but I like I was saying to you last night, it's heartless. There's
Motion sickness
There's no.
as well.
It's so frantic. So going to see the play was definitely a lot less stressful
Yeah.
than the movie.
I felt when I saw the film that this belongs on stage because then you can have the craziness happen without you having to have the camera change, direction every 12 seconds.
I would agree.
But I thought it was less frantic on stage.
Yes, I thought like I said to you last night also, I was worried because the opening number is so chaotic and all over the place.
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be like a stage version of the literal film, just bouncing all over the place, but it does settle down. Halfway through the first number, it started
Yes.
to settle down.
And it's a long... I felt the opening seemed to have about 5 different songs in it.
I started losing count after a while.
But it kept... We clapped and then it carried on.
Yes.
I think they could have paced that a bit better and really arranged the song as in one big number so we don't clap until sort of 15 minutes into the production.
Except I think that's what they want. They definitely give it the feel of an event. So I think they definitely want you, because you noticed as soon as the lights went down, the audience went crazy. People started screaming.
An area of the audience went crazy, so I think there was a big group of gaggling fans.
Yes,
last night.
obviously big fans of Aaron Tveit.
Yes.
And they do exist, so
Yes.
they very well could have been fans of Aaron Tveit.
Now he was in Next to Normal, wasn't he?
He was in Next to Normal, and he's in the Les Mis movie.
Yeah, and he played the Ewan McGregor part.
Yes,
Christian in this show.
And
you have an issue, don't you? Though.
Oh, all right. We were supposed to see Karen Olivo as
But she
Satine. Well, I don't know what's going on. And anybody that I know who I've asked, nobody knows what's going on. But I am now 0 for 2 in seeing Karen Olivo. She was out 5 days after she won the Tony for West Side Story. And I said to Nick yesterday, I don't have high hopes that we're going to see her because she's already been missing performances. So we saw not an understudy, but a standby whose name was, hold on, let me just check.
Ashley Lauren.
Oh, thank you. Yes, Ashley Lauren, who was superb. She was really, really good.
As she should be.
Yes.
And possibly, I always say you might even get a better performance. Because they're not walking through it. This is their chance.
Exactly. And it's hard to say because I haven't seen it already. Usually with the shows, when I go with friends, it's usually things that I've already seen. But I have no idea. She had a really strong, belting voice, and she was very good on stage.
And has a good entrance as well.
Oh well, so did Nicole.
Yeah. But also Danny Burstein.
Danny Burstein, who is playing Ziedler, and who got rave reviews. The Jim Broadbent part in the movie. He tore his meniscus, so we knew we weren't going to be seeing him. But as they always do at the theaters now, it's very shady. There were no notices up. We got an insert saying the cast for Tuesday, January 14th, and that listed all of the substitutes.
Were you sad?
No.
No.
I was annoyed. Well,
Right.
I was annoyed, but
You were annoyed at the handling of it, or were you annoyed?
Well,
at
I'm always annoyed at the handling of it. I think you should see it outside. You should have the opportunity if you want to not see it.
But then maybe they think if they have passing trade that people won't come in and book tickets.
I think that's also very true, especially since she's plastered all over the. All over the.
And someone on social media might see it and post a picture.
And and she has gotten rave reviews for this, and two people that I know who've already seen the show said she made the show. But I will say right now, if you're planning on seeing the show, if you're in New York and she is not in, and Ashley is playing the part, you'll be in good hands. She's really terrific.
Yeah. For me, the star of the show was the show. It was the visuals, and it's one of the most dazzling, dare I say, spectacular shows that I've seen, certainly in this country, because the shows I've previously seen on Broadway haven't been... I was expecting The Addams Family to be incredible, and you and I, John, went and it wasn't.
No, it wasn't incredible. This is much more consistent, I think.
Yes.
And we were talking yesterday about how a lot of these shows that feel like they should be really big shows are not really big shows. They feel very underpopulated on the stage. This one, it looks like every single producing dollar has been thrown up onto the stage.
And every single producer as well.
And every single producer. It's if you are hoping to go and see a recreation of the film, you will not be disappointed. It is spectacular to look at.
To use the
vernacular. You go into the theater and they've transformed the the Al Hirschfeld into the Moulin Rouge. The walls are all covered in fabric. There are lights everywhere, chandeliers all over the place.
A spinning windmill.
A spinning Moulin Rouge windmill, and Satine's big blue elephant is on stage. Well, in the box.
Something else then.
Yeah, so something else. So everything is thrown up on the stage, and they follow the color palette in the movie pretty closely too.
But there are some beautiful depictions of the slums that surround the area.
Well, that's what I said to you. I said to you last night, some of the most beautiful scenery was just the simple flats. They were just using simple flats. And the perspective, it was a beautiful, old-fashioned physical production.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't rely on any computer trickery. There were no projections. It was all...
Victorian.
Yeah, basically. I mean, even the rising and falling of the stage was very much in the Victorian way.
And they do have a... What do you call them? A palisade? The runway.
Oh, a passerelle.
Yeah.
There's a passerelle. If you're sitting upstairs, you're just gonna miss. You're gonna, if you're lucky and you don't have the two ladies that we had in front of us who leaned forward through the entire show, you won't really see much on the passerelle. You see from like the chest up, and there's not a whole lot done. But I have a feeling if you sit downstairs, it's a lot more immersive. There's a much more immersive
because the actors
feeling.
Are wandering around and things.
I mean, it's like a lot of shows now. You go into the theater, and within 5 minutes, there are people on stage.
Yeah, and music's playing.
And there's a constant riff going. In the background.
But I really enjoyed it. I thought the story is okay. It's love triangle. Kind of there's kind of efforts of class mentioning class in there, isn't there?
And for anybody who has not seen the movie or is not aware of the movie and likes opera, it's basically a retelling of La Traviata with a little bit of La Boheme thrown in for good measure.
Now, you saw La Boheme, didn't you?
I saw Baz Luhrmann's La Boheme on stage,
Any similarities that you noticed?
That Garrett set was very similar to the Garrett set. And like I told you, the L'Amour sign... seems to be his trademark because it was in the La Boheme and it was in the Moulin Rouge film as well.
Don't go expecting much of the film as regards music.
No, the music has been... The premise is the same.
Yeah.
It is a jukebox musical, but this one you don't seem to mind because it's all done kind of in good fun. And when you look in the program, there's no song list in the program because
every book.
Yeah, every single song.
71.
Yeah, not a single song really is done complete. They're all mashed with other songs. So a couple of the songs have 3 and 4 songs all mashed together. Her opening number is completely different.
Sometimes they're on top of each other in counterpoint. Yeah, sometimes it's the riff going on in one song with a melody from another song.
Yeah, so it's really kind of... The music directing and the musical arranging is pretty dazzling.
and that's done by Justin Stein, I think his name is.
Let's check.
Give me a second.
We are very rough cut today.
I know.
Very rough
Good
cut.
band, really good band. I couldn't see them, which was a shame. All we could see was a pianist, which is fine, but I always like to kind of appreciate the band. I think it would have been fun if they had the whole band on stage, don't you? Just Matt Stein is the name of the
I agree. It would have been fun to have. It would have been fun to see the band on stage, and there certainly was room for the band on the stage because the stage is not. It's it's pretty It's pretty massive.
Tell us about the theatre. What's played there in the past?
Oh gosh, the first time I was there, I saw Dracula with Frank Langella, but the last revival of Man of La Mancha played there. Kinky Boots played there. Lots of it's one of the bigger houses, and it was very popular. It's very popular. It's an old house. It's beautiful on the inside. You really didn't get to see too much because the walls are all draped, but it's a beautiful theater.
But we did go somewhere very special yesterday where we did get to see a lot of it.
Yes, we did. As a native New Yorker, something that I have
John
never
is
done
embarrassed
before.
to say.
I am embarrassed. I'm embarrassed now to say it. We toured the Radio City Music Hall. We toured Radio City, which I have never done, and I've lived here my whole life. So.
But you've been there to see the famous Christmas spectacular.
Yeah, I just saw the Christmas Spectacular back in December.
And
again,
we've seen it on YouTube with the Tony Awards and the MTV Awards and things, but to be in that massive cathedral of an auditorium.
Oh my gosh. It was fabulous, and it's one of the best theatre tours I've ever done.
Okay.
We were
talking.
You've
done Drury Lane in London.
I've done Drury Lane in London, and I've done a couple of others. I've done up at Stratford at the Shakespeare Festival. This was really eye-opening. I mean, it's really dazzling, and they do take you to all sorts of things that you would not see.
The stage mechanics, for example.
The stage mechanics, which they were telling us yesterday, when they updated the theater in the 90s, the hydraulic system was so good that they just modernized the switchboards and things like that, but they left them pretty much as is.
But they're 42 feet deep, and they can have sort of 9 million tons of scenery just rising up at the same time and things.
And how many does the auditorium seat? 5,000?
They said 5,000 with 6,000 if they get rid of the orchestra pit.
Which I don't quite get, because the orchestra pit doesn't seem that big.
Maybe they can do wonderful things. But it was a really well organised tour. Massive credit to Perry, who was our tour guide,
who was delightful. She was great.
And she had her script, but she made it sound like she was just it was rolling off the tongue.
Yeah.
She was just making it up. But she also took time to talk to everyone and chatted to us about our, questions and things. But I like the fact that, it has a very clear route, but then you get a little film sort of towards the end.
A little history of the musical.
I think it should have started with that, perhaps.
But if you'll think of the way the tour is set up, they couldn't do it.
Yeah, unless they play it in the auditorium.
Yeah, which they're not going to do.
No.
Yeah.
You don't get to go on the stage, obviously. Probably for
no,
health.
But it's a great tour. It starts huge.
Yeah.
And then it just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller and more focused as you go backstage.
Yeah.
Because they take you up to all sorts of places, dressing rooms and
costume storage
rooms and reception areas. So it is definitely planned out. It starts
private dining rooms.
Yes, with the original Art Deco furniture still there and the glasses and all of that stuff.
This is an Art Deco palace, isn't it?
Yeah,
and it's not fake Art Deco.
No, this is real Art Deco. Beautifully restored too.
Yes. So tell us about Roxy, this kind of figure that you only heard of yesterday.
Roxy was
not from Chicago, by the way.
Yes, and there's I was telling Nick there's a Rodgers and Hart song called "At the Roxy Music Hall," which if you listen to it is very much Radio City.
Yeah.
But I could never understand why they called it the Roxy Music Hall, and we found out yesterday it's because it's Rockefeller Center, but the guy who designed the theater and who oversaw the production of the theater, his name was abbreviated to Roxy, so it's the Roxy Music Hall. I don't remember.
Well, famous at the Rangers Music Hall are the Rockettes.
Yes.
Or Roxy's Ettes, as they were called, and then it was shortened to Rockettes.
Yes, so he was the one who brought them in. They talked a lot about that, and we got to meet a Rockette.
We did.
Which was...
Dream come true.
Yeah, a lot of fun. She was charming and
And
very
I
pleasant.
like the fact that the tour guide has to knock on the star dressing room,
yes,
which was quite camp and fun.
Yes, and very, very spontaneous.
Yes, and not prepared at all. But let's go back to Moulin Rouge, because it's coming to London in March 2021. The reason I wanted to see it is I don't think we'll get the full spectacle in London. I might be wrong. I hope I am, because I think everyone deserves to see it, because it is the greatest thing about the show.
It really is.
I think.
It's the whole reason the show exists, I think, is for the spectacle.
What stood out to you as the highlights? Do you remember? Because so much happens, isn't it?
I have to say, I thought Satid's opening number, the Diamonds Are Forever,
Yeah.
which led to Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, which included Single Ladies and about 500 other songs. To me, the highlight was the opening of the second act.
Yes. Too darn hot moment.
Well, yeah, the Too Darn Hot moment, which really adds absolutely nothing to the show, but it's a fantastic...
Well, it does. It says.
Well, it shows them in rehearsal.
But it also shows we have bad, naughty relationships going on.
Yes, so it does. Yeah, so there's a bit of a
never
montage.
guess what song we had.
Yeah, so it was, and it's all done to Lady Gaga's Bad Romance as the main song, and then of course, again, there's like 500 other songs that they bring in as the number goes along. But it was really excitingly choreographed.
Yes.
I didn't think the choreography was anything special, but it was really well done, if that makes any sense. It was really exciting to watch the dancing.
The costumes are glorious.
Costumes are beautiful.
The lighting is glorious. The sound is okay. I wanted more. There were moments when the sound got really big and moments where it sounded really muffled and distant.
That's typical. It seems like of all Broadway shows.
Yeah, but either have it muffled and distant or have it amplified and glorious, like it was for some of the moments. Yeah, I didn't mind not having Olivier Deleuve, whatever her name is.
Karen Olivo.
Sorry, not be in it, because if you didn't know, if I went on my own and just saw the show, I would have thought she was...
No, and she was really, really good. And her voice actually sounds a little bit like Olivo's. I mean, for anybody who wants to, the cast recording is out there, and she's all over that, so...
Would you go again?
I would. I think I would. Well, I want to see the two performers that we missed. I do. But I would go see it again, and I have to say, even though I don't really care for jukebox musicals, I did really enjoy it. So even though you dragged me kicking and screaming, I did enjoy it a lot.
But this isn't really a jukebox musical. It's the film, isn't it?
It is the film. But again, I also have a thing about movies to stage shows as well. And this one especially, that they really didn't do anything to change it.
It's funny though that the songs are so well thought out, and it reminded me of a show we have in London called And Juliet. Which is a new version of kind of an extension of Romeo and Juliet with Max Martin pop songs. We've reviewed it on the show, so you can go and listen to it. But and it features Toxic by Britney Spears, which this show also had. So,
oh right, I forgot about that.
Kind of very bohemian, but modern, but old-fashioned at the same time, and. It'd be interesting to see how the two shows clash with each other if
they're still running.
If one comes here, or when Moulin Rouge goes to.
And of course, if you came to New York just a couple of weeks ago, you would have seen And Juliet, and then come to New York, and then you could have seen Juliet's Nurse in Tootsie, which is the stage musical that they're doing in Tootsie, which is also a continuation of Romeo and Juliet.
Another musical. Of a film that's opening soon, just briefly touch on Mrs. Doubtfire.
I can only touch on it briefly. I know nothing about it. Just that it was a big hit in Seattle, and now it's coming here. And Rob McClure, who's playing Mrs. Doubtfire.
Tough role to step into.
Yeah, he's a really, really, really good performer.
Okay.
So he should do well, even though he's not Robin Williams.
But with Tootsie's closing. Suddenly, I wonder how Mrs. Doubtfire is going to be.
Well, that's the big question. I mean, how many shows do we need with a character doing a drag performance? I mean, everybody was up in arms with Tootsie, and I don't know what Mrs. Doubtfire. I mean, I think Mrs. Doubtfire is a lighter show, so maybe it'll be more successful. But I don't know any of I haven't heard any of the music. I don't know anything about it.
So, Moulin Rouge was directed by a chap called
Alex Timbers.
Who is this new big director that's just...
Yeah, he's all over the place.
What else has he done?
Well, as a matter of fact, coincidentally, we're seeing Beetlejuice tonight.
Yeah.
And he directed Beetlejuice, so he's got 2 shows.
He likes his spectacle, doesn't he?
Yes, he does, and he likes, and he does a lot of, he's been doing a lot of stuff recently on Broadway. Always too good. He did...
Bloody Jackson, or whatever it's called.
He did Bloody Andrew Jackson and Peter and the Starcatcher. And the big one that he did was Here Lies Love, which I was telling you yesterday was such a great show. But he definitely knows his way around
automation.
And a spectacle and a spectacular show. It was really well directed.
It'd be interesting to compare and contrast the 2 shows.
Why do I have a feeling we're going to end up doing that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like we
should.
planned it that way. But John, thank you very much.
Thanks, Nick.
Until next time, which will be very soon.
Sooner than you think.
Yeah, we shall talk about Beetlejuice. But thank you very much for joining me to Moulin Rouge.
Sure, bye.